Hey, good morning. Welcome to Ohio Real Estate. Thank you for joining me. Happy 4th of July. My name is Jason Ferrier. I'm a real estate agent here in Central Ohio. I'm also an investor. So invest in multifamily, single family houses. You know, I'm a evil landlord, but I'm also a real estate agent. So in some people's eyes, I'm like the dearth of society, I suppose. But nevertheless, thank you for joining me because today we're going to go over awesome data from Redfin. We've got some big updates, and I'm going to actually show you some data that Redfin has, but it's kind of hidden data. It's data that they never publish, but nonetheless, they do, or they never talk about, but they do publish it constantly. And I was able to dig up some of this data that I think gives us an idea of what's happening to the median sale price in the United States overall. So the median sale price is up. It's actually up right close to $400,000 right now. According to Redfin, it's an all-time high. And some people are wondering, how is that happening when you have a ton of inventory now hitting the market in many areas, not in all areas. I'm going to go over some metros here today that demonstrate that inventory isn't building in every metro. It's not. But the median sale price is up overall, and price cuts, the number of people actually dropping their price. That's why I've got the price reduce sign right there. So it's people are dropping their median sale price, or I'm sorry, their listing price, and there's record number of price cuts. So people wonder, how can there be price cuts? You know, interest rates are up. You keep seeing cracks in the housing market. How is the fact that the median sale price is still up overall and keeps rising? And so I have some data with delisted properties that I think will tell us some of that story. And I'm pretty excited to share that with you. So today, the schedule, the way this usually works is we'll go over the Redfin update for the week that they published. They actually published it yesterday because of the 4th. And then we'll go over the data here in Columbus from Redfin briefly, and then I'm going to dive into some other metros. So today on the list, I picked out Houston, Seattle, Los Angeles, Nashville, and Boston. Those are the areas I picked out. No real rhyme or reason to that. Just kind of curious what's happening in those cities. If you have a city you want me to analyze, please let me know. Even if it's after the live, leave it in the comments. I'll analyze it on the next live. So here we go. We're going to start with the normal national update. Sorry. Good morning, by the way. It is morning, right? All right. So they didn't do an article. Thank goodness. I kind of like the fact they don't do an article. They have one little short blurb. Then they go into the data, which I've already reviewed. But we'll just go ahead and jump in. So pending sales have posted their biggest decline since February during the 4 weeks ending June 30th. The good news for prospective buyers, there are more new listings to choose from, and monthly housing payments are down nearly $100 from their April peak as mortgage rates decline. So pending sales are definitely down. The number of people actually going into contract to purchase a house is down year over year. We're having a horrible year with the number of home sales throughout the United States. In many areas of the United States, many metros, like for instance here in Columbus, you know, people just aren't buying and selling like they usually do because they're not listing their homes. The new listings here are actually only up, I think, in June 3%. So nonetheless, pending sales typically are just being crushed across the United States, a lot of times because of, you know, high interest rates, high prices, and lack of affordable inventory, really. So there are more new listings to choose from. We understand that. And housing payments are down a little bit, down $100. Whoop-de-doo, right? All right, so let's just dive into the leading indicators. The mortgage rates seem to be stuck right around 7%, right? Daily average, they're saying right now, 7.13 as of July 2nd. That's up from a 3-month low of 6.97, up from 7.03% a year ago. So it's pretty much close to what it was a year ago. The weekly average rate I highlighted It's the fourth straight week of declines, the lowest level since the week ending April 4th. So mortgage rates from a weekly standpoint, a weekly average standpoint, I guess, have declined for 4 straight weeks. Somewhat of a win, I guess, if you're trying to buy a property, but it's still, they're still kind of stuck around 7%. Mortgage purchase application decreased again, 3% from a week earlier, down 12% year over year. So clearly, people are just not putting as much, as many applications in to buy a house as from a mortgage standpoint. But rates did they did go over, rate over 7%, few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. So because of that, people are like, I think the 7% scares people. They're like, boy, 7% can't buy a house, 699, maybe I can. So it's probably not a big difference in payment, but psychological. Redfin home buyer demand index essentially unchanged from a month earlier, down 17% year over year. No surprise. Touring activity up 21% from the start of the year. Right in the winter, not many people seeing houses. Then you go into spring, more people seeing houses. But last year at this time, it was also up 11% from the start of 2023. They don't really give a year over year measurement on that. Why, I don't know. But touring activity's up from the start of the year, but not a ton year over year. Google searches for homes for sale down 4% from a month earlier, down 20% year over year. People just aren't looking for homes online like they did last year. And obviously compared to last month. All right, key housing market data. This is where they look at the top 400 US metros and then they analyze those to see, what's happening overall in the market. Then they dive into, where what metros are growing or shrinking the most regarding different stats. So first thing is median sale price. Like I said, it's up 397,954, up 4.9% year over year. That's an all-time high, biggest increase since March. Again, median sale price, you take all the houses that are sold, you look at the one in the middle, that's median. It's not average. Average is you grab all the data, then you divide it by the number of, the number of homes in the market that sold, and that gives you the average price, which is much different than median. So there's a lot of theories floating around as to why the median keeps going up. But one thing I can tell you is that it's really driven by inventory and the fact that more expensive homes are hitting the market than affordable homes. And I say this every week. I still haven't had anybody tell me that they're seeing this. But are you seeing affordable houses in your market actually sit on the market that are move-in ready, in great shape, and are priced correctly? Are you seeing those in your market? So for instance, if your median sale price in your area is $350,000, are you seeing homes priced at $290,000 that are sitting, that are move-in ready, would pass FHA? In other words, nothing really wrong with them. Maybe some cosmetic stuff, but like the basement and the roof and the windows and the heating systems, all those work okay. If that's true, I want you to tell me, are you seeing those? Because I'm not hearing any of that. All I'm hearing are, I'm hearing houses are sitting. I'm hearing that there are a lot of price cuts in different metros, but they're all like houses that you can't afford or that most people can't afford, right? Or they're higher priced homes or they're not priced correctly. So those houses are going to sit. But my point of all that rambling is that if more expensive houses are on the market than cheap houses, the more expensive houses, when they do sell, are going to continue to drive up that median price. If there were a ton of affordable houses on the market and people were scooping them up, for pennies on the dollar, then you would see that median price probably decrease. But we're not seeing that because affordable houses, at least from what I can tell, there's nowhere to find them. So again, tell me, prove me wrong. Are there houses in your neighborhood, move-in ready, priced under the median, that people are just ignoring and letting sit, and they're sitting for, 30, 45 days, 60 days with tons of price cuts? I'm not seeing that personally. I'm seeing homes fly off the market here in Central Ohio if they're move-in ready and affordable. Anyway, median asking price $409,975. That's a year-over-year change of 6.1%, biggest increase since October 2022. Median monthly mortgage payment, obviously high at 6.86% interest, so it's even higher now if you think about a 7% rate. That's $88 below the all-time high. So $88 below the all-time high. Is that a win? Not really sure it is. Pending sales, this is the interesting part. 87,000 units, down 4.6% nationally. Biggest decline in 4 months. So the number of sales, number of houses actually going into contracts declining significantly, and that translates into less sales, obviously. New listings, though, look at this, up almost 101,000 units we gained, or we added to the market, rather. That's the biggest increase in 2 months. So you subtract the 100,000, or the 101,000, and you subtract the 87,000 pending sales above, and you get a delta of like 14,000 units. So that's like we added 14,000 units to the inventory that's staying. That's how I look at it. Active listings creeping up on 1 million active listings. I mean, we were at like in the 300,000 active listing range, I think, at one point a few years ago. So balancing the market a little bit. Active listings are up 17%. But again, like here in Columbus, active listings, if you look at homes priced over the median, we're actually up like double digits, like 20%. But if you look at homes priced under the median, the last time I looked, we were only up like 5%. So big discrepancy with higher priced homes versus affordable inventory. Median days on market. This is another crazy stat here, up 5 days. So last year, by this data, we were at 27 days for how long the median house sits on the market, meaning take all the houses that sell, how long does it take that one in the middle to sell, to actually, go into contract? Not close necessarily, just go into contract. There's a big difference, obviously. It could fall out of contract, but median days on market, 32. So obviously, homes are sitting longer. By the way, this is the best stat to look at, or one of the best stats, if you want to find a deal. If you track properties in your market and you track the inventory in the market, then pay attention to median days on market, because that's and how long properties are sitting. If that keeps increasing, especially in the affordable price range, or prices that you're looking to buy, and maybe you're looking to buy a luxury home, then pay attention to that and track it, and that can give you a guide as to where the market may be headed, or if you can get a deal or not. Share of homes sold above list price, 32.3. That's down from 36%. Big change, right, since last year. So less homes are selling above list price. Probably a good thing. Share of homes, the price dropped 6.9%, up 2.1 points. This is what I'm talking about, right? People are wondering, why are there a ton of price cuts and price drops, but the median price is not dropping? How can that be? It must be manipulation. Redfin's behind the scenes pulling levers and changing data to make us think the housing market's better than it is. But like, if they really wanted to fudge the data, they would do something to spur, I don't know. They would do something, I would think, more drastic, because I don't see them affecting the housing market at all. I mean, do people read this and then run out and buy houses because of it? I wouldn't think so. Hope not anyway. But to say it's manipulated is maybe a reach, I'll just say. All right. Average sale to list price ratio, 99.7%, down 0.3 points. So people are getting 0.3%, not 1%, 0.3% of a discount on the average property. So sellers are pretty much getting what they're asking in general if you look across the country. Now I'm going to show you this delisted info from Redfin. I had to pull this and put it into a Google sheet. But delisted properties, and hopefully you can see this. Let me just make sure you can. Yeah, you can probably see this. So delisted properties are properties that come off the market not selling. So they could be expired, meaning you sign a listing contract with a seller. As an agent, if I sign a listing contract with a seller, normally a lot of times it's 90 days. That's seems like to be the industry going time. Sometimes 6 months, right? So in other words, I have a contract to list that house and sell the house for that client for 90 days. But after that 90 days, it's called expired. Now you can renew that or extend it, but, and a lot of times people do, but sometimes they just pull it off the market. And in the data for the MLS, it shows as expired. You can also cancel the listing. Like, let's say you had a house listed for sale as a landlord, and then you found a renter, and you say, I'm just going to rent this thing out and keep it. So then you cancel the listing. Sometimes there's a problem with the property. Like, you had a plumbing leak while the home was listed. So you have to take it off the market, and that's called temporarily off the market. But in any case, the delisted homes, that's what that represents. So this shows us how many homes are actually coming off the market that aren't selling. And again, I think this points to that median sale price, because look at these numbers. I was really, I wasn't surprised, but it's still interesting to look at. So nationally, according to Redfin, remember, this is Redfin data. I pulled this, by the way. I'll show you where I pulled this in a minute, but it's kind of behind the scenes. I took some finagling to get it downloaded. And by the way, they have a ton of other data too. They've got I think they've got 50 data sets to look at beyond what they usually show us. So the homes delisted year over year is the percentage. So if you look at how many homes were delisted versus this time last year, 102% more. So as of the last report, 6/30/2024, that's what Redfin's looking at. That's the period ending. We had 20,000 listings that were delisted. 20,000 listings. And look, it's gone up every single week. Look at this. I mean, there were 12,000 delisted back in January. But then if you look at this year, 2024, look at that. It keeps going up and up and up. So we have 102% more delisted properties right now than we did this time last year. So think about this. You've got a bunch of people putting homes on the market, and a guy that I always watch, I encourage you to watch him too, called One Rental at a Time, Mike Zuber. He calls it wish pricing. So you've got a bunch of people trying to sell their house, wanting a price that's probably unrealistic, right? Or the home isn't ready to sell. And they're just kind of wishing that somebody would come by and make them an offer. Maybe they, decided not to sell when people were willing to pay anything for houses when interest rates were really low. Or maybe they're in a situation where they're just like, I've got an extra, beach home or something. I want to see if I can sell it and make a couple $100,000. So they put it on the market. It doesn't sell. They take it off. It becomes delisted. So the more of those properties that are being, put on the market as kind of fake listings, not real, that significantly impacts inventory, because you've got a bunch of inventory sitting there that nobody really can buy or is not realistic. And so because of that, I think you're seeing the active listings look like they're higher than they actually are. Because if they were affordable houses and houses anybody can buy, then pending sales would be up, because somebody's going to buy an affordable house. But again, I haven't had anybody tell me they're seeing a bunch of affordable inventory in their area. So I hope you like that. That was delisted homes by Redfin. And I'll show you where I got that info here in a second. But let's go ahead and go back to the metro level highlights. All right, so going back, switching gears, we're doing the metro level data. Again, we're doing a national perspective. Then we're going to dive into Columbus and then a few other metros. So median sale price, where it increased the most year over year: Anaheim, California; Newark, New Jersey; Nassau County, New York; New Brunswick, New Jersey; and Fort Lauderdale, Florida. These are usual suspects. They're on this list every single week. When you live in one of these areas, it seems like prices have gone to the moon and they're not stopping. This list over here is the same as well. Week over week, it seems like that's the ones that where median decreased the most. You've got Austin, Dallas, San Antonio. So out of the top 50 metros, that's what we're looking at right now in this section. Median price declined in 3 out of the top 50. So I think my theory of delisted properties and more expensive properties being listed on the market, I think that holds water. I think that it seems to be what's happening, because you have price cuts across the board, a lot of price cuts, but overall median sale price isn't dropping. Pending sales, where homes are going into contract the most: San Jose, San Francisco, Pittsburgh, Providence, Rhode Island, and Boston, Massachusetts, where they're the worst, where pending sales are the worst. West Palm Beach, Houston, Atlanta, Miami, Minneapolis. It increased in 9 metros. So out of the top 50, pending sales increased in just 9. New listings. Where are more new listings hitting the market than anywhere else? Look at this. San Jose, California, 49% increase in new listings. Wow. Seattle, 28.7, Miami, 24.8, Boston, 24.3, and Montgomery County, PA, 22.2. Atlanta, Detroit are the 2 areas where new listings decreased, and it actually decreased in just 2 metros. Wow, that didn't register earlier when I looked at this, but it declined in just 2 metros. So out of the top 50, 48 metros had increases in new listings year over year. Man, that's more inventory hitting the market, but is it good inventory? At least not in Columbus, around my area, not. All right, let's look at some of these graphs briefly. Median sale price up 4.9% year over year. Just like it's over the last 3 years. Yeah, a lot of people thought that this would just crash when interest rates went up. Some of those folks have been calling for a price crash for like 2 years, right? And they get really mad about this data. Like, this data is like, makes them angry, but it shouldn't make you angry. It's just data. It's not going to hurt you. And it is what it is. So you just got to kind of play the hand you're dealt instead of wishing and hoping and praying that the graph would change or something, or thinking that there's some kind of conspiracy by Redfin to dupe the United States. Just, be logical for a second and play the hand you're dealt. That's all you got to do. All right. Median asking price. Yep. It's elevated overall, but it's starting to come down a little, right? I guess. I mean, it's not going like this anymore. But people are asking more for houses than they did last year. Again, I think it's wish pricing. So there are houses I know of specifically close to me, very close to where I live, that have been recently listed. They're not moving, and they're priced in the 7 figures. So in a general area where the median sale price is well under 500 grand, and you've got homes listed over $1 million, what do you think's going to happen? Like, what do you think those homes are going to move quickly when interest rates are 7%? No, they're not going to, right? They're not going to. So that's why more homes are sitting on the market that are expensive. Home buyer housing payments up 6.5% year over year. Not going like rocketing up anymore. I guess that's good. This would be amazing if it came down year over year. And what's funny is next year when we look at this in 25, it'll probably be under, hopefully it'll be under 24 with housing payments. Pending sales down 5% year over year. Many areas are suffering in the real estate market. Realtors, mortgage loan officers, I would imagine title companies. I'd have to think home inspectors, even photographers, right? If you're doing marketing for real estate, I'm sure you're hurting. New listings of homes up 10% year over year. That's good. We need to see more new listings. Just need to see affordable new listings. Active listings. This is up 17%, but look what's coming. Look what's coming where looks like there was a spike in, 2022. So is it possible we dip under 2022 for active listings? It's possible. 3.3 months of supply available on the market. So months of supply is basically, hey, you take all the inventory right now, You take the current pace of sales and you look at that and say, all right, how many months of supply do we have if we don't add any new listings? Well, this is great and all, but you really need to look at that price range, because what I see in the price ranges, at least in Columbus, is that more expensive homes have a large month of supply, meaning they're like 7-8 months of supply for homes priced over, 750 grand when the median is 350. But homes priced under the median, months of supply is under 2. So there are very few price points in my market where it's actually a buyer's market. Generally speaking, anything under 4 is a seller's market. You get to 4 months of supply, becomes a balanced market. Then you start to get to a buyer's market. And there are very few areas and price points near me that are buyer's markets. They're really expensive houses. And it's because people aren't buying really expensive houses with loans right now, generally speaking, because of the rates, especially on a jumbo loan. 42% of pending sales under contract within 2 weeks. So this is down compared to the other years. Again, people are just, homes in general, if you look at all the inventory in the United States, they're just sitting longer. They are. Homes sold in a median of 32 days, again, demonstrates that. 32% of homes sold above final list price. You still have almost a third of homes selling above final list price, which is crazy. But compared to the last few years, it's down tremendously. This time in 2022, look at that. We were, right near 50% in 2022. And in 21, they kind of crossed right there. 6.9% of listings had price drops. So more people are dropping their prices. Again, you have a bunch of expensive homes on the market, you're going to drop the price compared to affordable inventory where you may not need to. And I think sellers, the other thing I'd say, I think sellers are getting used to, or they're starting to wake up to the fact that I just can't price my home at any price and it'll sell. It has to be a reasonable price. And you just can't shoot for the moon and go, hey, it should be at 300. I'm going to list it at 330 and see if we get some bites. Horrible decision. You got to price it where the market dictates off the bat if you want to move it quick. Being greedy, those days are over, generally speaking. Average homes sold for 99.7% of final list price, so people are getting a small discount, but not huge. Redfin Home Buyer Demand Index. I don't really care about this too much. I don't know if most people do. It's down 17% year over year. Of course it is. How can it not be, right? All right, so now let's look at some metros next. And by the way, if you have a metro you want me to analyze, let me know. Somebody asked about Boston here. Hang on. Funded Traveler. That's a cool name. What's your thoughts about Boston real estate in the short term for buying? Thanks. All right. Yeah. So I'm getting used to dealing with these comments on the live, but I'll get to Boston. That's on my list. So I'll be there in a minute. All right. So I'm in the weekly housing data. This is the downloadable data section of Redfin. And this is where you can come in and look at about any metro across the United States and counties too. So sometimes the county level is better to analyze. But let's start in Columbus. That's where I live, or right near Columbus. And we'll see what's going on. Unbelievable median sale price for Columbus actually dropped. Hasn't dropped in a while, right? But it dropped to $351,000. What's amazing is the median sale price in Columbus now is higher than Houston's. Higher than Houston, Texas. Never thought I would see that. I mean, it's ridiculous in Ohio right now. So we were at 353 last report. Now we're at $351,000. That's an increase of 3% year over year. Not a huge increase, but nonetheless an increase, right? It's actually less than the national increase. National increase was 4.9%. So one thing Columbus is doing better at is at least the price didn't go up as much. I'm not sure there's many other pieces of good news. So This is probably going to kick me back. Yeah. I got to type in Columbus again. All right, I want new listings. All right, new listings for Columbus. Up 7.2% year over year. So nationally, we're like 10% for the week. Columbus, 7.2%. So it's good. We're getting a little more inventory. A little more inventory. Let's do active listings. So active listings up 13.96%. Nationally, I think we were up like 19%. Is that right? I'm just going back. I want to make sure I get the right info. Active listings up 17.5%. So we nationally. So Columbus is obviously under that with active listings. Months of supply. Let's look at that. They do weeks of supply on these charts. So it's 9.4 weeks of supply, which is a little over 2 months of supply. Again, it's definitely a seller's market in Columbus. There's no doubt. Let's do homes sold. So homes sold's up 4.5% and actually pending sales. Let's look at that real quick. Pending sales for Columbus is up 0.9%, which isn't a lot, but it's better than being down 4.9% like nationally it is. Yeah, it's just kind of stuck here in Columbus. Pending sales are up a little bit. Again, affordable inventory is just out the window here. I've got several clients, buyers that are looking for affordable houses. Can't find them. Anything decent has multiple offers still. And if it's priced right, it has multiple offers. And not only multiple offers, but people are paying cash, waiving contingencies, no inspection, no appraisal. And just, coming in strong, coming in hot. It's frustrating for first-time home buyers and people just looking for affordable houses. All right, now let's move on from Columbus. Somebody asked about Boston. Funded Traveler. It's kind of a cool name. I like that name. All right, let's do Boston since they asked. But I want to start with median sale price. Jeez. Okay, median sale price in Boston, 6% up year over year. Wow, $768,000 in Boston, by the way, for the median sale price. I mean, this thing has just gone like nuts this year. I wonder if inventory is low. Well, let's look at new listings. Wow, look at that. So new listings in Boston, they're up 24%. But certainly down compared to 22 and 21, but up compared to last year. So you've got more new listings hitting the market, 24% more. But it doesn't seem to be overall increasing that much since the summer started over the last few weeks. But it's certainly up compared to last year. So I wonder how active listings are in Boston. Up 13%, kind of like Columbus, about that area, 13% increase from last year in active listings. But remember, I keep forgetting this. Remember that last year was a horrible year for active listings and new listings. So like we're comparing it against historical low numbers. So just because you have a 24% in active listing, an increase, doesn't mean that that's a lot, right? Like 24% of not a lot is not a lot. So it's like, it's all relative in perspective, I guess, when you look historically. But yeah, I guess there is a little more inventory, right? Now let's look at months of supply. That'll tell us a big picture. Yeah, look at this months of supply. They do weeks of supply. Wow, you're under 2 months of supply in Boston. And it hasn't gotten any better since really the beginning of the year. Look, at one point you were at 12 weeks of supply, which is what that's like 3 months of supply. But now you're all the way down under 2 months of supply. And to me, that signals a strong seller's market, not just a seller's market, but a strong seller's market. If you've got under 2 months of supply. Geez. Price drops. Look at this, price drops. 5.8% of listings have price drops in this time period. So in this week. So I'm sorry, in this 4-week period, that's how they're measuring it. So again, people look at the price drops and go, see, 6% of people are dropping prices. That means that we're going to get deals. However, like in Boston, great example, median price is up. Months of supply is down. And my guess is because even though we have increased inventory, maybe some of it is unaffordable inventory, or priced wrong, but in general, it's not a big increase numbers wise. Percentage wise, it could be, but numbers wise, real numbers, not a lot more added to the market to choose from. So inventory could be up a little, but months of supply is down. So people are buying. People are buying. Let's look at median days on market. By the way, when you're using this Redfin data, you've got to constantly look over to make sure that the city you want is still selected. Sometimes when you when you look at these different parameters up here, it'll flip and automatically drop you back into the national picture. So you have to just make sure. I made that mistake a few times. All right. Median days on market, 17. Wow. 17 days on market. So that is really, that hasn't changed hardly at all, right? Compared to the previous years. Barely changed. I mean, one time it was 16 days on market. I guess back in 22, it was 15.7 days on market, but hasn't moved a ton. I mean, homes are only sitting there for the median at 17 days. I mean, so after reviewing all that, because my memory is awful here, I'm going to go back and look at their question again. What's your thoughts about buying? I'm just going to show it. What are your thoughts about buying Boston real estate in the short term for buying? What's your thoughts about Boston real estate in the short term for buying? Thanks. Well, I mean, it doesn't seem like, by the way, thank you for the comment. It doesn't look like much has changed in the last few months, right? And it just looks like a strong seller's market overall from what I can see. I mean, that's what I'm seeing, Funded Traveler. It's like months of supply is low. Median days on market hasn't changed, really. It's 17 days. That's like nothing. That's nothing at all. 17 days on market. So I would say that judging by the median sale price and the fact that it just keeps going, it doesn't seem like you're adding an exorbitant amount of inventory. I mean, you have to obviously analyze exactly where you live in Boston, what neighborhood you live in, down to the street level. So get with the local realtor who can provide that MLS data. And if they can't provide that analysis for you, find a new realtor, by the way. But I mean, it doesn't seem like there's a crash at all pending. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of inventory building. Days on market, again, are 17 days. So I don't know. Looks to me like it's a strong market that's going to keep increasing based on what I see. But that's a metro level view, not super local. Anyway, that's what I see. Overall, it's a hot market to sell in, and it's got to be rough to buy. I would imagine buying an affordable house in Boston is like near impossible right now. Tell me if I'm wrong. But good question. Thank you. All right. Let's look at another metro here. We did Boston. Let's do Houston. Houston, Texas. Median sale price, Houston, Texas. Yeah, I'm surprised. Houston's up 2% year over year in median sale price. Look at that, 348 grand. And I showed you Columbus was 351. Columbus more expensive than Houston, median sale price wise. But Houston has a lot of new construction. And that helps with prices, certainly. All right, let's look at new listings in Houston. New listings only up 12.2% year over year. So, not that many, really. I expected more, honestly. Active listings, where are they? Active listings are up. I don't know why it does that sometimes. Active listings up 24% year over year. But again, we had historically low inventory levels last year, so it's probably not a massive increase in units. Median days on market for Houston, 29.2. Look at the difference. Boston, 17 days. Houston, 29 days. So, huge difference in median days on market, right? I mean, that is a big difference. You're almost at a month. Months of supply. Let's see where that is. We got weeks of supply at 16.5. So that's 4 months of supply. Really considered a balanced market, I suppose. So you've got less than 2 months of supply in Boston, and you've got 4 months of supply in Houston. No surprise you see the prices in Boston go like this, and the prices in Houston kind of go like that, right? No surprise there. Okay. Let's pick another metro. Let's see. I got Seattle. I used to live near Seattle. Super expensive out there, but beautiful some of the time. Till it rains for 60 days straight. Then you're like, this is awful. All right. Months of supply in Seattle. 7.4 weeks of supply, which is what? Right under 2 months of supply. So it's still really a strong seller's market in Seattle. Let's look at median sale price. $854,000, year-over-year increase of 7%. Wow. So Seattle, they kind of trudged along here right where 2022 was with pricing, but then now it's starting to shoot up where 2022 it went down. New listings in Seattle. 28.7% year-over-year increase, but well under 2022 and 2021 with new listings. Remember, this is like a metro look, 50,000 foot view of metro level for Seattle. Every neighborhood's going to be different. So, if you're in Tacoma, it's going to be much different than if you were in, Gig Harbor or something. Let's look at pending sales. Pending sales down 0.1%, basically flat from last year. Not much excitement there. Let's look at median days on market. Geez, this is a goofy chart, huh? Hard to even get there. Median days on market. Oh, that can't be right. Is that right? 5 days? What in the world? Somebody's gonna have to chime in from Seattle. Look at that. 5 days on market. That's the median days on market. I'm keep looking back at the stat to make sure I'm clicking the right button. Jeez. Homes are moving fast there. Really fast. Go back to months of supply. Maybe they are. Maybe they're moving that fast. And it could be also how they're calculating it at a local level. But man, that is definitely that's low. That surprised me. Huh. I know an agent in Seattle. I'm going to email him and ask him about that. That's nuts. All right, let's look at another metro. Los Angeles. La La Land. See what we got. Median days on market. We'll just start there. 34 days. So Seattle 6. I don't know if that's correct, but 34 days median days on market for Los Angeles. So to me, that's like normal, right? Like I haven't been in real estate that long, like 7 years, right? So back 7 years ago when I started, like in Columbus, median days on market was like 35 or 38 days or something like that. So you had time to make a decision. You could show houses to buyers, show them several houses. They could go back and talk to their family about it and make a decision. As a seller, they were more strategic because they understood if they priced it too high, it wouldn't work. Whereas sellers now are still, enamored by the post-COVID, maybe even COVID prices, where people were just paying anything for houses. And so they hear that and that kind of gets in their brain, and now they think they can still do that, and they can't, generally speaking. So it's nice to see median days on market increase a little bit. 34.5. Let's look at months of supply in Los Angeles. 13.5. So you're still, what's that? Just over 3 months. Just over 3 months of supply. That's still really a seller's market. It really is. Let's look at new listings. New listings in Los Angeles up 18% year over year. Still down from 22 and 21. What about the median sale price let's do active listings. Did we do that yet? I don't think we did. Nope. Active listings, 14,000 units. Year over year, up 17% in active listings. Median sale price. Wow, look at this. Median sale price in Los Angeles, $929,000. That's up 8% year over year. No price crash in Los Angeles. None. At least not yet, according to Redfin. Homes sold. How many homes are they selling? It's like flat. Year over year, down 0.5%, but it's not down 4.9% like it is nationally. All right, let's see. I've got a couple more here. Oh, I got one more I'm going to look at, unless somebody has another one. Nashville. This was supposed to be the epicenter of the crash, according to a lot of people. Well, they predicted a lot of epicenters of crashes. $475,000 median sale price for Nashville. Up 6% year over year. Jeez. All right, that keeps going, I guess. Let's do active listings. Nope, sorry. I want to do new listings first. New listings in Nashville, up 12.9%, just barely over the last few years, but definitely less new listings than 2022. Now let's do active listings in Nashville. Active listings up 10% year over year, and months of supply. How are we doing months of supply? 15.1. So that's right under 4 months of supply, right? So really still a seller's market in Nashville. Let's do median days on market. 43.8. Wow, so homes are definitely sitting longer. But look at last year, it was 42.6, wasn't that much different. But back in 22, 21 days, and then in 21, 17 days. So the homes were definitely moving faster over the last few years compared to now. But man, last time I was in Nashville, I couldn't believe the size of the houses and how nice they were. Like there were areas of Nashville that were like outside the city. I was in like the Franklin area, and I haven't seen houses like that in many other areas of the United States from a standpoint of like subdivisions of, it looked like houses that were like 6,000 square feet, 7,000 square feet, all custom, amazing. Like they're all brand new, huge, impressive houses there. So maybe a lot of those are sitting because they're expensive. They got to be priced well over $1 million. But anyway, really nice houses there. When I was shocked of the size of them. Reminded me of like Texas, but bigger, it seemed like. All right, so that's Nashville. If I have any other ones, I did Boston, I did Houston, I did Seattle. All right, somebody else has one maybe here. Oh, put a couple comments here. Hey, Coors Light, what's up? Pre-pandemic 2019 data is important for comparison purposes, but Redfin has chosen to leave it out. Yeah, that is interesting. So you can still get it in the weekly data. You just have to go into their raw data for the downloadable housing information. So like, this is how I do it. It's right here. It says choose format to download. I don't know if you can see that, but that's how I do it. And so I actually click this and then I click data and it brings up this screen. This is some pretty nerdy stuff, so prepare yourself. And then you can do show fields. And, oops, sorry. I click full data over here on the left, then show fields, and look at all the stuff you can look at. There's tons of information, right? And I think, do they go back that far? 2019, they may not. No, they don't in their weekly chart, but they do in their monthly chart. I thought they did in their weekly chart, but they don't. You're right. Coors Light, they don't have it in there. They don't have it in there. It'd be nice if they did in the weekly chart. Maybe that's just too many lines on the chart or something. But they do have in their monthly data. It would be nice to see the pre-pandemic information. So I do analyze the pre-pandemic versus now data. I will do that on my realtor.com live. So I plan on starting a realtor.com data review that's live like I do Redfin. But the realtor.com data is nice because I'll grab the charts from Lance Lambert at Resi Club and I'll be able to look. I mean, his data is amazing. And I'll be able to look at pre-pandemic and actually go back because they're using so realtor.com, he uses Zillow data for prices and realtor.com data for inventory. So what I'll do is I'll go back. I mean, I can go back 20 years on some of that data. It's pretty sweet. But yeah, thank you for the comment. All right, this one. I believe they used to have 2019 data available a few months back. Maybe they did. I'll email them and ask them. I'll email Redfin. The lady over there who runs their data, Chen Zhao, I think is her name. She's actually responded to me a few times when I had questions. So she seems pretty helpful. I'll ask them. Funded Traveler. Have you come across any metro areas that are buyers markets? Thanks again. That's a great question. So I would think there are some areas. Yeah, I have. So this is just what I remember recently was an area like Lake Havasu, I think. Lake Havasu, Arizona is an example. I'm not saying you want to live there or buy there, but that inventory was like exploding and days on market was exploding when I looked at it. So that's what I would pay attention to is days on market and inventory compared to pre-pandemic. So Coors Light's right. Like if you look back pre-pandemic levels and compare inventory now and you see a drastic difference or an increase from pre-pandemic levels, then that would be an area to pay attention to as a buyer's market. With affordable houses, I haven't found it. I don't know what price range you're shopping in or interested in. Maybe you're an investor or whatever, but if you're looking for affordable houses, I haven't found an area that is like quote unquote a buyer's market where you've got over like 5 or 6 months of supply. So we'll keep looking though. And if I find one, I'll definitely mention it. Oh, okay. You're talking about the 2019 data. I get it. Oh, you're right. Yeah. On the monthly charts, they have that, right? They go way back. They do. So, but I would definitely stay tuned for that realtor.com, Zillow live, because Lance's information from Resi Club is bar none, I think, the best data out there. And it really shows the facts versus pre-pandemic. And you're right, Coors Light, very important to review that. But thank you for the interaction. Thank you for the comments and the questions. Let me see if I have anything else. No, I showed you delisted. We looked at all these metros. Well, I guess that's the end of my life. Thanks again for joining me today. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Put a lot of effort into this thing to bring you guys some data and some realistic perspective. I don't get upset about the data. I don't really care what it says from a emotional standpoint. I just find it interesting to look at, and it's good to use to plan your strategy. But remember, real estate's local. You got to get really dialed in your local area, down to the street level usually, on where you want to buy. So, all right. I hope you guys have a great 4th of July. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next Redfin Live update.